Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am here to show you how to make a fancy Christmas tree bulb for one of the ceramic Christmas trees. Um, uh, this is typically your bulb. You've got a stem and you've got a cute little, it looks kind of like a bulb, and you put the light in it and it shines. However, you really get some sparkle if you've got crystal. um, it makes it a little, the Christmas ceramic Christmas tree look a little bit better. um, Now, for this project, you will need 4 by 6 millimeter um, rondelles or 6 millimeter bicones. Um, the bicones, I found they're really sparkly. Um, the So are the rondelles, but the rondelles I don't think give that much of a sparkle. And you can find bicones in all sorts of colors. And bicones typically are going to be, crystal clear. You don't have to worry about trying to find one that are transparent enough for the light to go through. Now, you will also need a big eye needle. Big eye needle can be found in any beading needle can be found in craft stores or online, and you have that's how you put the thread in. For monofilament, you want a big eye. Beading needles will not go through, or I should say, the monofilament will not go through the eye of beading your regular beading needles. It just won't. You will also need 6 or 8 pound monofilament. I found 8 pound worked better for me as far as the tightness is concerned, and you really do want it kind of tight. Okay. Later on, you will need uh, a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol to get off the Sharpie, and you will need some E6000 to glue on stems. And you will have to, they do sell the stems online. I think after Christmas, you have to get it closer to Christmas, but the stems themselves, they're kind of hard to find after Christmas. I tried to locate a place to find them, and I was not successful. So, but I saw them before Christmas, well before Christmas. Now, what you will need to do is you will, and I know my crystals are off camera, you will need to, I am using not monofilament for this one because monofilament does not show. I'm going to give you a little bit, a little bit more light. Monofilament does not show on uh, camera, and so I'm using Fireline. It Fireline works just as well, but it's not translucent. So this is where you will actually see the thread path going through the crystals. Now, I don't want it to go all the way down because they'll come off, but I want at least a um, 2 to 3 inch uh, tail so that I can tie it in at the end. Or I should say, not really tie it in, but weave it in. Now, to get started, after that, the next step is you want to go back through all the crystals. But as you notice, this is the tail thread. The tail thread does not have the needle on it. The working thread does. I am taking the needle and going past the tail thread. I'm going the opposite end because you're making a loop with these crystals. Okay, like this. Now I am going to work I'm going to give you another word, travel. I'm going to travel to the next, back to the tail thread. Traveling means you're going to just move through some beads to set yourself up for the next step. Okay, so I am traveling through this bead. I'm traveling through 3 beads, and I'm going to hold it because I'm trying to stay on camera, and it will like to go off camera. Okay, so now that I've gone through all of the beads again, I'm going to take the tail thread and the working thread, and I'm going to tie them together, and I'm doing left over right and pull. Then I'm going to take the right one and put it over the left, basically making a square knot. And I do it really fast. Okay, and now you will see this is where my knot is. I will now travel up diagonal from that knot because I want to stay away from that knot as much as possible. Okay, because sometimes your needle will catch in the knot. And now that I have gotten to this point, okay, I am now going to go, I'm going to add 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add 3 new crystals, okay? And I'm going to bring them all the way down. Now, on these, and I know you will see some dots. Ignore the dots for now because I'm already dot them. But you, instead of coming over here, what you're going to do is you're going to go up opposite from where you were, and you're going to pull down. And you don't want your needle to get caught on stuff or your thread to get caught on stuff, so be careful about that. Okay, now this is what we call, you've done 2 right angle weave units. Now these 2 units, the first one's going to be super tight because you've put a knot in it. This one's going to be loosey-goosey. And because it's loosey-goosey, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to reinforce it. That means go back through there, but you're going to be exiting this bead. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got 1. I've gone 2 and 3. Sometimes you can go through a couple beads at a time. And then you go back through that bead that was on that first unit. And you want your beads to sit where they're snug together. And I'm gonna, because sometimes they'll want to shift on you, kind of like what they just did to me. And I'm going to be exiting. And I'm also, for camera purposes, I'm using a larger crystal than what you will be using. Okay. Now, this is where we get the Sharpies out. Okay. I already have 1 dot, and I'm about to put some more dots. Let's see if I can get my Sharpie up in there. We have 1. You're going to take a black Sharpie, and you 2, 3. Now, these 3, this one's not going to do anything for you, the center dot one. Okay. These 2, this one and this one, they're going to fold to each other, and you're going to be adding a bead to attach them. Okay. Now, I don't think the green dots are going to show, but we'll try. Okay. This one, this one, this one, and this one, these 4, what's going to happen is once you've folded them, these 2 you're going to have a total of 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. And once you have folded them, which is the next step I'm going to show you, when you fold them and add the 2 beads, you're going to end up with 3 on top and 4 on the sides. Okay. What this will do is the 3 is where you're going to end up. I'm going to show you on this one. You have 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. This is where you're going to be gluing in the stem. You're going to pick an end and you're going to glue your stem in on that location. So I'm going to fold it. Okay, make sure that your dots are on the outside. And you're like, why? So that you can clean off your dots and later on. Okay, I'm going to take it and I am folding it. And see my dots. Some of my dots have flipped to the inside, but I can flip them the other way. I have folded it. The best way to do this is folding it this way, and I'm going to move out a little bit, is folding it like this in your hand. You have folded that center bead that we put a dot on it. That is your fold mark. So you should have, it's going to look like you have 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. Okay. But really, technically, what's going to, at this point, you do have 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, 4 on the side. But because this is a 3 sided right angle weave unit, you're actually going to have 3 and 3, okay, on the tops. Now, yeah, my beads are going everywhere. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is I've got it folded, and you take this bead and stick it, put it on your needle, and then you're going to enter, this is the one closest to your finger, you're folding, and you're going to go in through the one that's next to it. Now, these beads don't want to really sit next together because I'm really holding the folding. I'm going to take this one, I'm going to take another bead, and notice you've got 2, you need to add a bead here so that you have a total of 4. So I am going to go in here. Now, again, this is going to be really loose. So because it's really loose, I suggest you go through it multiple times. And you're going to need to hold on to it until you get it super, 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 super tight. Okay. And I'm trying to get this super tight. There we go. And see, I have my 4. Now, to make this thing incredibly tight, and when I say incredibly tight as I've got them, number one, the monofilament will help. But the other thing is you've got to, okay, I am coming out one of the black dotted beads. Now, see that how we've got 3 beads at the top now. Okay, those 3 beads need to be stitched together. Otherwise, it's this whole unit, this whole thing is going to be so loose it's not even funny. Okay, so what you do is you just go through each one of these beads. And you want to do it multiple times. I would suggest with monofilament, you probably get away with 2 or 3 times. But you want it tight. You want this whole thing tight. Okay. Now that I've got it to the tightness that I'm comfortable with, I am going to take it take my needle and go through a black dotted bead, and I am going to come up. The ones that are green dotted will be, or the other color will actually be your 3 that you have to go through at the top and the bottom. Now I have gone through a black bead, a black dotted bead, and now I'm going to go through the top. These are the 3 at the bottom. Again, you want to go through them, 2, 3 times, because you want this structure to be solid. Okay. Now that I've got I've got mine done. It looks like a hot mess because you can see all the thread paths. But to actually tie off this thread, let me get through one more bead. I can see the hole there. I am going to go under a thread path. A thread path is the thread that goes between 2 beads. I'm going to go underneath that thread path, and I'm going to make a little loop. That loop, don't take it. If you pull too hard, that loop's going to go bye-bye. You've got that loop, and you take your needle and go through the loop and then pull. And when you do, you have made yourself a knot. You will do it. I would suggest you take it, especially with monofilament, take it further around somewhere, do it again. Go underneath the thread path. I don't know if, there we go. Underneath the thread path, make your loop. Try to make it a little bit small, because otherwise you might have a knot way out in Egypt. Okay. And you are going to pull. Okay. Once you've done that twice, go underneath, go into another bead. Get rid of your tail thread, go into another bead, and then all you need to do is take your scissors, and I like to take my scissors and put it next to the thing and just pull, and it'll pop it. With this tail thread, what you'll need to do is take the tail thread. You don't have to go tie knots. You can tie knots by going under a thread bridge if you want to, but because there's already a knot at the end of it, all you have to do is take your needle, attach your needle, and go through some of the beads. Now, once you are finished, you should have something that looks as pretty as these. Okay. To finish it off, like I said earlier, you just need to see, that's a 4. It's easier to see on this one. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want a 4. You want it where it says it's 3 together. 1, 2, 3. Take a small amount of E6000 and put your stem right there. You will need to sit them upright, and make sure that the stem doesn't flip or flop on you. If you have problems with them flipping and flopping, then what I would do, especially with the bicones, I would probably put the stem at a 4 instead of a 3. But with the rondelles, if you look at the original is at the base of a 3, 3 crystals together is where the stem has been put in. Okay, so hope you enjoy this, and thank you for joining me.